Yeah, right. So today we're going to be answering some questions that you guys have responded to a story with, or DM'd me with, or commented on a post with. So let's get right into it. Question number one. What is the best sleeve drafting system for roped sleeves? I wouldn't say there's a best sleeve, like a best drafting system for doing sleeves. There's sort of, I find it's best with most drafts is to get yourself a draft that you're quite familiar with, and that gives you a really good baseline. So I would mock up some scrap fabric or some, some very, very cheap wool. I would do the draft by the numbers and then run it into the armhole and see what kind of outcome that is, and then based off that, I would add inlays around the cap, potentially widening the top sleeve. My sleeve system that I use is from Regal's American Garment Cutter, and I only use the sleeve system from that entire book. The way that they draft jackets is a little bit bizarre because you need to flip the back onto the top. Everything is a little off skew. It's hard to get a good reading as far as what's parallel to the ground, that kind of thing. But their sleeve system is fantastic. And I will say this about sleeve systems, or just drafts in general. Having a draft that you can pick apart quite easily. So not a very, very regimented draft, not something that says, add an eighth of an inch here or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you'll have to kind of figure that out on your own. The best way of doing it is to, when you have a sleeve draft or you have any draft, is to eliminate as many variables as possible, which is getting rid of some of the seam allowances, getting rid of some of the ease, figuring out what the skin measurements mean in relation to the finished products. So what I have done to get a good sleeve draft is I have the Regal's American Garment Cutting sleeve draft, and then what I have done is overhauled it to the point where I can move points around based off either direct measures or some other new implementation that I've learned from someone, or I've figured out myself. That's really the best way of getting around this. So just as you would alter like the bend in a sleeve on a draft two-dimensionally, you would also just add more to the top and back. And I would really watch about adding too much right here. That may not produce the best look in a rope, especially if it's a check sleeve. I mean, obviously you want them to match. For the most part, I mean, when you're doing a rope you can add a bit to the top of the pattern here, but a majority of all that fullness from the front comes from the back rolling in. So you'd have to widen the top sleeve, slightly narrow the undersleeve, make sure that, and not narrow the undersleeve, but the point of the undersleeve needs to move in as the back point at the top of the hind arm sleeve, the top moves out. So those two things work in conjunction. But I think I get a pretty good result from Regals, and now that I've edited it so heavily, it's more mine than anything else. So I started off with a good baseline. I built it from that. That's a good question though. I like more cutting questions. I find I'm getting maybe a bit rusty, and I need to improve. All right, question number 2. Let's see what we have here. Oh, okay, this is a good one. Not really sartorial, but would you consider yourself a watch guy? And do you have a favorite watch? Yes, I have a favorite watch. It's actually the watch I'm wearing right now. I do have other watches that are more expensive than this one. Nowhere near like luxury, luxury tier. I don't have a $20,000 watch or something like that. And I haven't worn it in such a long time because of COVID, and because we're constantly on our phones. Sometimes it's easier to look at the top right corner. But there is something very nice about wearing something analog and something automatic, something mechanical. And my watch guy, I would say I'm more of like not a trinket kind of guy, but I'm into like things like simple machines. I'm into things that look like they're really well engineered, something that is functional and beautiful. And I like this watch too, and I'll tell you why. Is that, I mean, it's nothing fantastical, you know, nothing insane. It's got a pretty good weight to it. It's essentially just a mechanical pilot's watch, but with all the doodads that make it an aviation watch. Some of the things I do like is, I do like that it's manual wind and it's not automatic. So this isn't like an IWC that, like, you know, you shake it once and it runs for X amount of days, and you have to manually wind it every time you wear it, which I actually kind of like because I like seeing things move and change. And it's a skeleton watch, so there's no numbers on it. It's quite simple. The only complication that it has an offset second hand, so it's not in the main, I don't know, rotor, I don't know what you'd call that, but it's on a separate little dial on the side. And I do like the coin bezel, and I was looking for a watch for a very long time that had a coin bezel, and it also has like a little coin bezel around, like a little coin ridging, I guess, around the crown. I don't know what you call it. But also, like, the back is clear. I don't know how many jewels this thing is. I just like seeing it in the inside. And I do like the fact that it has a butterfly bracelet. I mean, it makes it a little bit easier to put on and take off. And also, I find with it also keeps the profile really low against your wrist. So if you're leaning on something, then it doesn't tend to have a really big bulky like watch clasp that, like, you know, you have to break in the leather and that kind of stuff. So I like that it's just, you know, I can pick it up, throw it on, and you know, I'm out the door. I mean, I do have to set it every day, but, you know, who cares about that? I mean, the only thing I don't like about this watch is, and this is a very minor thing, is that just the quality of the strap, the quality of the bracelet is not that good. I mean, I'm having some leather wear away. I mean, the lining is pretty discolored, but that's also something that, you know, that I can just have replaced. I mean, it's not it's the aftermarket stuff. It's not the actual movement or anything like that. And I find even still for a mechanical watch that is a manual wind, it doesn't lose that much time during the day. Yeah, I like it. Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to DM me with more of your questions. You can either leave them in the comments of the post, or I'll put up another story that has like one of those Ask Me Anything kind of things. But from now, just take care of each other, and I'll see you guys pretty soon. Bye-bye.